Ask your parents the full names of their great-grandparents. Go ahead. I'll wait. Maybe they remember 2. Maybe 3 if someone was particularly beloved or terrible. 4 generations back, and you're already a ghost. Just a name on a census form someone might find while researching their ancestry at 2 a.m. That's you in about 80 years. A faded photograph no one can identify. I think that's someone's aunt, the house you're killing yourself to afford. Someone else will gut the kitchen you spent months choosing. They'll rip out your timeless fixtures and shake their heads at your taste. Your car will be compacted into a cube. Your clothes will end up in a donation bin where someone will hold up your favorite shirt and say, "Nah, not my style." Everything you own will be gone. Everything you've built will crumble or be demolished or simply forgotten. Your social media accounts will go dormant, then disappear when the platforms eventually shut down. Your emails will be deleted. Your photos will be lost in someone's cloud storage they never open. This isn't nihilism. This is just physics, entropy, time. Your brain evolved to keep you alive on the savannah, not to make you happy in a cubicle, so it worries, constantly, about everything. It scans for threats, predators, poisonous plants, angry tribe members. Except now there are no predators, so it scans for threats in your inbox. It finds them in text messages that end with a period instead of an exclamation point. It manufactures them from the way your coworker said "good morning" in a slightly different tone than usual. The thing is, some worries are useful. Worry about the mole that's changed shape. Worry when you haven't heard from your friend in 3 weeks and she's been struggling. Worry about the grinding sound your brakes are making. Worry when your kid is running toward a street. These worries keep you alive. They're the alarm system that works. But we don't stop there. We worry about the typo in the email we sent 4 months ago that probably no one noticed or remembered. We worry about whether someone thought our laugh was too loud at a party in 2021. We mentally rewrite conversations from years ago, crafting the perfect comeback we should have said. We lie awake at 3 a.m. wondering if we're good enough, successful enough, interesting enough, productive enough, creative enough. For whom? For what? We worry about Instagram likes, about our LinkedIn presence, about whether we're maximizing our potential. We worry about retirement accounts while forgetting to actually live in the years we're supposedly saving for. We worry about our legacy while ignoring our Tuesday afternoon. We know we're going to die. Intellectually, we know, but we don't believe it. Not really, not in our bones. Death is something that happens to other people, old people, sick people, unlucky people. We read about it in the news. Car accidents, heart attacks, cancer. And we think, how terrible. And then we go back to scrolling. We've built an entire civilization around pretending death doesn't exist. We hide dying people in hospitals and nursing homes. We use euphemisms, passed away, lost, no longer with us, as if the person just wandered off and might come back. We put makeup on corpses to make them look peaceful, as if death is just a really good nap. We make retirement plans for our 80s. We say things like, when I'm older, as if older is guaranteed. We plan our lives in 5-year increments. Finish school, get the job, get the promotion, get married, have kids, get a better house, save for retirement, then finally live. Except there's a decent chance you won't make it to retirement. Even if you do, there's a good chance you'll be too tired, too sick, or too late to do the things you dreamed about. The average person spends 30 years working a job they don't particularly like, so they can retire and finally enjoy life. But here's what they don't tell you. Most people die within 15 years of retirement. You trade 30 years of your life for 15 years of freedom, except by then your knees hurt, you're on 6 medications, and the adventure you wanted to take requires an energy you no longer have. Here's what nobody mentions about death. It makes most of your anxieties look insane. You're on a rock, hurtling through a void at 67,000 miles per hour. You didn't ask to be here. You didn't choose your DNA, your birth location, your brain chemistry, or your initial circumstances. One day, without warning or consent, you simply weren't. And then suddenly you were, conscious, aware, alive. You got about 30,000 days if you're lucky. That's it. That's your entire existence in this form, on this planet, in this universe. And you're spending hundreds of those days worried about LinkedIn optics, about whether you said the right thing in a meeting, about whether your ex thinks about you, about whether you're living up to some imaginary standard set by people who are just as lost as you are, the person who, lives in your house after you die won't know about the argument you had with your sister in 2019. They won't know about the passive-aggressive email exchange that consumed your entire week. They won't know about the political debate you got into on Facebook that you're still thinking about. They'll paint over your carefully chosen wall color and think, God, who chose beige? Your boss will replace you within a month. I'm not being cruel. It's just true. They'll post your position on LinkedIn, interview candidates, and slot someone new into your desk. Your ongoing projects will be reassigned. Your inbox will be archived. That thing you were stressing about finishing, someone else will finish it, or they won't, and either way, the company will survive. Your replacement will find your hidden snacks in the desk drawer and eat them without knowing they were yours. They'll wonder why you organized the files this way. They'll change your systems. Within 6 months, it will be as if you were never there. Let's do some math, and I promise this isn't as depressing as it sounds. If you live to be 80, that's 29,200 days. You'll sleep through about 9,600 of those days. So you're down to 19,600 days of conscious life. You'll spend about 2,500 days working, if you're lucky and don't work overtime, nights, or weekends. So for most people, add another 1,000 days. That leaves you with about 17,000 days. Subtract time for commuting, 1,000 days. Getting ready, 500 days. Eating, 1,500 days. Dealing with bureaucracy and chores, 1,000 days. Being sick, 500 days. Scrolling through social media, if you spend 2 hours a day, that's 2,400 days of your life. 6.5 years looking at a screen. You're now down to about 10,000 days of actual discretionary, living your lifetime. 10,000 days to do everything you actually want to do, to see everything you want to see, to be with everyone you love, to create, explore, rest, play, learn. How many of those 10,000 days have you already used? How many are left? And how many of those remaining days will you spend worrying about things that don't matter? Knowing you'll die doesn't automatically make you wiser. Plenty of people know they're mortal, but still spend their days arguing with strangers on the internet, or chasing raises they don't need for lifestyles they don't enjoy. Death awareness isn't a magic pill. It's not an instant enlightenment button. Some people become aware of their mortality and just become more anxious, more controlling, more desperate to leave a mark. They build monuments to themselves, literal or metaphorical. They try to become famous, to be remembered, to matter to strangers. They chase immortality through legacy, through children who will carry their name, through achievements that might echo beyond their death. But here's the thing, even fame fades, even monuments crumble. Ask yourself how many Roman emperors you can name. They had absolute power over millions of people, commanded vast armies, built structures that still stand today, and you can't name 10 of them without looking it up. Shakespeare is one of the most famous writers in human history, and most people couldn't tell you a single detail about his actual life. We remember the work, not the man, and Shakespeare is in the top less than 0% of remembered humans. Death awareness is more like a question that keeps asking itself, if this doesn't matter in 100 years, does it matter now? Sometimes the answer is no, and you can let it go. The colleague who was rude to you in the meeting won't matter. The person who cut you off in traffic won't matter. The critical comment someone left on your social media post won't matter. The fact that you're not as successful as your high school classmate who posts about their perfect life won't matter. Let it go. Not because you're being zen or enlightened, but because spending your limited days on that garbage is objectively insane. Sometimes the answer is yes, precisely because it's temporary. The conversation with your kid matters more because you only get so many. The friendship matters more because your friend won't be here forever, and neither will you. The meal matters more because you have a finite number of meals left. The sunset matters more because you have a finite number of sunsets. Impermanence doesn't make things meaningless, it makes them precious. We avoid thinking about death because it's uncomfortable, because it reminds us that we're not in control, because it forces us to confront the fact that we've been wasting time. So we stay busy. We fill every moment with noise, podcasts, music, television, social media. We check our phones 96 times a day because silence is terrifying. Silence means we might have to think, we might have to feel, we might have to face the fact that we're not happy, that we're not living the life we wanted, that time is running out. We make plans years in advance as if we're guaranteed those years. We say, I'll be happy when, and fill in the blank. When I get the promotion, when I lose the weight, when I meet the right person, when I have enough money, when the kids grow up, when I retire. But when never comes. There's always another when after that, another goalpost, another condition for happiness. Meanwhile, your actual life is happening right now. This Tuesday morning, this conversation, this cup of coffee, this breath. And you're missing it because you're too busy planning for some future that might never arrive. I'm not going to tell you to live, laugh, love, or seize the day, or follow your dreams. Those phrases have been drained of meaning by motivational posters and Instagram captions. They're true, but they've been said so many times that they bounce off us like water off a raincoat. Here's what I'll tell you instead. You know what matters to you. You've always known. You know that you'd rather spend time with your aging parents than work overtime. You know that you'd rather take the trip than save for a slightly bigger house. You know that you'd rather tell your friend you love them than wait for the right moment. You know that you'd rather create something mediocre than create nothing at all out of fear it won't be perfect. You know, you just keep negotiating with yourself about when you'll start. After the promotion, after you lose the weight, after you have more money, more time, more certainty, after you figure it all out, after things calm down, after the pandemic, after the economy recovers, after the kids are older, after you're more prepared. There is no after. This is it. This weird, brief, improbable flash of consciousness between two infinite voids of non-existence. Your great-great-grandchildren won't remember you. They won't know your struggles, your dreams, your personality, your laugh. You'll be a date on a family tree. Maybe a story if you're lucky. Oh yeah, I think great-great-grandpa did something with computers. Or was it accounting? I can't remember. But the person sitting across from you at dinner tonight will remember whether you were actually there or just scrolling through your phone. They'll remember whether you listened or just waited for your turn to talk. They'll remember whether you showed up for them or made excuses. The friend you've been meaning to call will remember whether you called. The parent who's getting older will remember whether you visited. The kid who's growing up fast will remember whether you were present. You will remember whether you did the things that made you feel like yourself, or whether you spent your one life waiting for permission that never comes. Nobody is going to give you permission to live your life. Your boss isn't going to say, you know what, you should work less and spend more time with your family. Your society isn't going to say, you should care less about productivity and more about joy. Your social media feeds aren't going to say, stop comparing yourself to others and just be. You're waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to want less, to do less, to be less ambitious, to opt out of the race. No one is coming. You have to give yourself permission. Permission to disappoint people. Permission to say no. Permission to quit the job you hate, even if it pays well. Permission to end the relationship that's killing you slowly. Permission to move to the place you actually want to live. Permission to try the thing you might fail at. Permission to be weird, to be different, to want different things than everyone else wants. This is your life. Not a dress rehearsal for your life. Not preparation for your real life that starts later. This is it. One day you'll take your last breath. You won't know it's your last breath. That's not how it works. You'll just assume there will be another one after it, the way you've assumed your whole life. You'll be thinking about something mundane. What to have for dinner. Whether you locked the door. That thing you need to do tomorrow. And then there won't be a tomorrow. All those things you were going to do someday. Someday just ran out. All those people you were going to call soon never came. All those conversations you were going to have. Trips you were going to take. Risks you were going to take. When the time was right, the time ran out. This isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up, because you're actually here right now. You're alive. Your heart is beating. Your lungs are breathing. You have this moment, and maybe you'll have another one after this, and maybe another after that. But those are never guaranteed, so maybe stop rehearsing your life and just live it. Not because time is short, though it is. Not because nothing matters. Some things matter enormously. But because you're actually here right now, and that's the most improbable thing in the universe. The odds of you existing are essentially zero. The odds of your parents meeting, of that exact sperm meeting, that exact egg, of your ancestors surviving long enough to reproduce for thousands of generations, of the Earth forming in the habitable zone, of life emerging at all. Multiply all those infinitesimal probabilities together, and you get a number so close to zero, it might as well be zero. And yet here you are. So stop spending your impossible existence worried about whether you're enough. You're here. That's already more than enough. Stop spending your miraculous consciousness scrolling through other people's highlight reels. Go live your own life. Stop waiting to feel ready. You'll never feel ready. Do it scared. Do it uncertain. Do it badly at first. Just do it while you're still here, because you will die soon. And when you do, the only question that will matter is, did you actually live?